Hi, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Maybe you know me personally, or maybe a friend suggested this project, or maybe you stumbled across the story and you didn't even know you needed to hear it. Either way, I'm glad you're here. My name's Amara. I am the founder of the Woven Women Project. I'm a creator, a photographer, a writer, and a deep lover of storytelling. I believe that storytelling is medicine. Real stories, that one that carry truth, grit, tenderness, and transformation matter. These are the stories that connect us, that remind us that we are not alone, that we were never alone. So let me tell you where the Woven Women Project was born from. In 2020, right before the world shut down, my mom came to visit me from Colorado. It was more or less to see her grandkids, my kids, but I was included in that. At the time, I had a studio in the downtown area of where I live, and I begged her to let me take her boudoir photos. It was right when I was getting into the idea of it, and I just thought how beautiful and impactful it would be to see an older woman bear her scars and tell her story and share her truth. My mother is a 20-year breast cancer survivor, so she bared her open kimono and showed her scars to the world and let me write about it. My mother is a private woman and does not have social media, but with her special permission, I have been able to share her story and her images with you. 7 decades and 2 years, this incredibly beautiful woman has been a soul inside this shell of a body. The body that has carried 2 tenacious children, who has beat breast cancer, multiple surgeries on her stomach, leaving her with no belly button, a silicone breast implant, and a tiny frame that has a hard time consuming food and maintaining weight. Although her fiery personality doesn't allow you to think that hinders her. This is all just factual. The stories this woman can tell. The passion she embodies for books, politics, culture, fashion, women's empowerment, her grandkids, and her family. She survived the 60s hippie movement, 70s bell-bottoms, 80s where she became a mother ×2, the 90s with all the hair, or was that the 80s? Definitely anywhere in New Jersey in any lifetime. Y2K, a divorce, beating cancer in 2002, losing a job and a house. The 2010s consisted of moving back to colorful Colorado from Oregon, rebuilding her life and finding her happiness again. Born as Nancy L. in Brooklyn, New York during the late 1940s to a German immigrant who traveled through Ellis Island, and a World War II veteran and retired sergeant major. When she tells stories of her parents and her childhood growing up in New Jersey, her face lights up. This woman who showed up and allowed me to photograph her, her scars, her stories, and her body is the same body that birthed me. The woman who once wanted 9 boys so she could have her own baseball team. She had my brother and then me and decided she was done. A few years ago, she came to visit me. The trip was mellow as usual, but it was during that trip that I truly understood my mom and her spirit. When I became a mother, I felt like I had incredible shoes to fill. I put so much pressure on myself to be just like my mom. It was during that time that I realized I would never be able to be the same kind of woman or mother. I am like her in a fiery, passionate, expressive way, but within my own authentic way. After we said our goodbyes, I hugged my mom as tight as I could. I realized then that her frame was not the same frame that I entered this world in. It was smaller and more delicate than it ever felt. However, I knew, and I know even more now, how strong it is. Bearing witness to our parents' aging is not for the weak-hearted. Having this experience with her transcends my inner goddess through this process. She felt beautiful. She is beautiful. She is my mother. So this is a sneak peek of what the Woven Women Project will be like. Of course, it will not be all boudoir images and more storytelling, but it is a small snippet of what has set my heart on fire, and I am so excited to share that with you.